I'm not afraid of the dark. I'm afraid of my daughter-in-law. I know it sounds ridiculous, but the moment I look into her eyes, a cold shiver runs down my spine as if someone is standing right behind me. She is quiet, far too quiet, to the point that every step she takes in this house puts me on edge. I kept telling myself it was just my imagination, until last night, when I saw her standing at my bedroom door at 2 a.m., saying nothing, just watching. And in that moment, I knew. This fear was real. Thank you for listening to this story. Please like, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to help spread it further. I'm not afraid of the dark. I'm afraid of my daughter-in-law. I, Marlene, have repeated that sentence in my mind for months. Ever since Alicia stepped into my home as my son's wife, something in this house has felt heavier. She is a woman with warm brown skin and eyes so deep they look like they can read every thought before it's spoken. People call her gentle, quiet, composed, but to me, that silence feels like a shadow following me everywhere, silent and unpredictable. What unsettles me the most is that Alicia has never been rude, not once. But her perfection, the way everything she does is precise, effortless, makes my chest tighten. She behaves as if she has lived here for years. She knows where I like the flowers to face, what tea I drink, even the exact minute I get out of bed, though I never told her. At first I thought, maybe Daniel told her. But the longer we lived together, the more I realized there were things Daniel couldn't have known to tell. Like that night, when I walked into the living room and saw Alicia adjusting the clock, setting it 2 minutes fast, exactly the way I always do when I'm anxious. How did she know? And then, that night at 2 a.m., I woke up with the chilling feeling that someone was standing close. When I opened my eyes, Alicia was at my doorway, one hand on the frame, not speaking, not moving, just watching me with eyes as still and cold as an untouched lake. In that moment, I knew. My fear wasn't my imagination. Part 2. The truth buried beneath the floor is approximately equal to 300 words. Ever since the night Alicia stood in front of my bedroom door, I began watching her more closely. Every small movement of hers made my heart seize. I noticed she often slipped out of the house at exactly 11 p.m. No bag, no phone, just walking into the darkness as if someone were waiting for her. One night, I secretly followed her. She led me to the old storage shed behind the garden, the one that had been locked for years after the death of Ethan, my eldest son. No one was allowed to enter that place again. But the lock was open, and Alicia was standing inside. I hid behind the door, heart pounding against my ribs. The tiny flashlight in her hand shone on a corner of the wall, where I saw Ethan's old photo album. But what froze my blood wasn't the album. It was a picture of Alicia holding Ethan's hand, taken 7 years ago. My whole body stiffened. Ethan never mentioned this girl. Not once. Never. Why was she in my son's past? Why did she hide it from Daniel? From all of us? Then, Alicia said something that sent a shiver down my spine. Ethan, I did it. I won't let them forget you. I covered my mouth to stifle a gasp. In that moment, I realized my daughter-in-law didn't just carry secrets. She carried the past of the son I had lost. The next morning, while I tried to mask my panic behind forced calmness, Alicia walked into the kitchen, quiet as always. But her eyes, they knew everything. And she asked, "Did you sleep well last night, Mother?" It felt like a blade brushing against my throat. I knew what I had to do. I called Daniel home immediately, telling him something was wrong in the house, that Alicia was hiding something. But Daniel, blind with trust, defended his wife instantly. It wasn't until I brought him to the old shed, pushed the door open, that all three of us fell silent. Inside wasn't just the album. There were letters from Ethan. Letters he never sent. Daniel shakily opened one. I skimmed the words, and my stomach dropped into a void. If you're reading this, it means I never got to tell my mother. Alicia was the only one beside me in my final days. I'm sorry I couldn't tell her the truth. But please, protect her for me. Daniel turned to Alicia, stunned, and I collapsed inside. Every suspicion I had, every fear, every cold glance, all of it was nothing but the blindness of a grieving mother. Alicia stepped forward, voice trembling yet steady. I never wanted to replace Ethan. I only wanted you to know I never meant harm to anyone in this family. For the first time, I saw that my daughter-in-law wasn't the darkness. She was the light I had refused to face. I reached for her hand, shaking. Please, forgive me. Alicia nodded softly. And I realized, my greatest fear was never my daughter-in-law. It was the truth I had been too afraid to see. And from that moment on, I understood. Sometimes darkness doesn't come from others. It comes from the walls we build around our own hearts. And my daughter-in-law Alicia was never the shadow I feared, but the one who patiently waited for me to open the door, so light could enter once more.